And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Friday, January 6th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down an 11-game NBA slate. I wish it were less, but we'll take what we can get for today. It's good to be here, folks. Good to see everybody here this morning. Don't forget, whoops, I don't know what I just, that was just on my end. I hit a button. Things changed on my screen. Thought I did something to the stream. It wasn't it. It's good to see everybody here this morning. Lots of people in chat. Ugly slate yesterday, but I'm not really in any position to complain all that much. Essentially, break even, down $70 in the main slate. Cashed 72 of 150 lineups, which is hilarious to think, but didn't have a 1%er. It's a really, really odd slate. Got the Jaren Jackson piece correct. He's my third most exposed guy. So that worked out really well. Had a ton of Şengün, which was really helpful. My biggest problems were likely a pretty big stand on Tim Hardaway, who was pretty bad. And then just simply not having Jason Tatum. That would have been the piece that I needed because I was neutral-ish on Markkanen. I had 15%. He was 14% owned. Obviously, I had the Jaren Jackson piece covered, but I just didn't have Tatum, so I have no real way to get all the way to that tippy top. But just having that much Jaren Jackson was good enough. Brooks was bad, but good enough. Wendell Carter Jr. was bad, but good enough, at least for this slate. Can't really complain all that much. Luka was obviously an epic failure. Earlier in the day, I was getting, he was basically a lock button for me. Once we lost some of that Houston value, I was able to lower him a bit, got to more Ja, which ultimately didn't matter either. But the big piece that hurt me, not necessarily hurt me because everybody else had him too, but man, Michael Porter Jr., 15 fantasy points yesterday, along with that Tim Hardaway performance. That was just rough. Absolutely rough. But ultimately, 72 of 150, close to a neutral performance. These were my lineups in order. Or if I want to, I can just accidentally click back and show nothing. That's really helpful. Scroll back down and get to this pretty easily. I like showing my lineups now. It's going to be helpful as a recap for the day. My best lineup, KPJ, Marcus Smart, Jalen Green, Malik Beasley, Lauri Markkanen, Banchero, Olynyk, Jackson, Walker, Kessler. A giant Houston-Utah game stack, 6 guys there. I would have, in hindsight, I'd like to swap out one of those Utah guys for something else. Not because I have a problem with having four Utah guys, but it would have been a weird scenario for Beasley, Markkanen, Olynyk, and Kessler to close. Just because that would have left out Clarkson and Conley, and both of those guys are essentially locks for that spot. So I would have needed to likely lose one of that Beasley, Olynyk, Kessler trio. So maybe something to think about as I move forward. Try to think out groups a little bit more, but I don't even know if I would have set that to begin with. But ultimately, I can't really complain all that much. This will work for me. So we move on to the next day, which is fine by me. Let's switch up that view. Boom. We go big. It's good to see everybody this morning. We got 50-ish people. Remember, it's a Friday. I know we haven't done one of these in a hot minute, but we do have that hard out right around 8 o'clock. I do head to the gym at 8:30. So we need to move through this one pretty quickly, which means it is time to just simply drink some coffee and get this bad boy started. Now, by having this show for the past 3 days and by having the big Wednesday slate, we have taken our lap through these rotations. So we should be able to move a little bit quicker. Only a 4-game slate yesterday means there's not going to be that many teams on a back-to-back. So we should get through this a little bit quicker. By the way, man, the Clippers were bad last night. I basically had no exposure, very, very little exposure to the Clippers in general. They were basically zero. So that could have worked out really well for me if I somehow had gotten to Jason Tatum a little bit more. It just didn't work out that way. And then from the Nuggets, MPJ was the guy that I had the most of. I really didn't have a ton of that late night game, which should have worked out, but didn't work out the way that I would have liked it. So anyway, let's get to it. Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter. I can feel my voice going. Andrew, Kawhi absolutely isn't playing tonight. He'll never play a back-to-back probably again in his career. I can feel my voice. I've definitely talked so much over the past couple days after not having done these shows for a couple weeks. I'm getting raspy. I can feel it. But nothing a little coffee won't fix. So I've got my coffee. I hope you guys do as well. If you got a coffee, tea, water, that's what we're looking for today. Hydration is the key. So whatever you're drinking, coffee or tea, get a water along with it. I am wildly dehydrated. So first, I am going to sip the water. So, hydrate, people. Yo, that's so good. But now we get to the coffee, which means it's right there, everybody. You guys see it on the screen. Rise and grind. It is about that time. Cheers to everybody. Let's have a good day. Clink. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Perfect start to the day. Also, BetMGM, sponsor of this show. We'll talk about them in a little bit once we're about to run some crunches, but I don't want you to forget, you can get a $1,000 risk-free bet and 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, so long as you follow the link in the description. But again, we'll talk about them in a little bit. Here we go. Change up the view. Boom. And we get it started. The Portland Trailblazers are 1.5-point dogs in Indiana, 231 total. For Portland, we have a Q tag on Jeremy Grant. We have a probable tag on Yusuf Nurkic, a Q tag on Gary Payton, no Justice Winslow, no Nas Little. I think we're going to get through this one pretty easily. Trendon Watford did not play on Wednesday. They went to Jabari Walker, which means I'm going to go back to Jabari Walker. That makes things a little bit easier. I got Dame in for 36 minutes. Part of me wants to make that 37, and I am going to do so. I got Jeremy Grant in for 35. I got Josh Hart in for 35. I'm going to make that 34, actually, and that is going to allow me to make up that minute for Lillard. Only other guy that really matters here is going to be Yusuf Nurkic, and I got him in for 28. That's probably a little healthy, but at the same time, this is a dude whose minutes are all over the place. I am going to take him down because he's not fully splitting these minutes at the 5. Although, like, he kind of is when they want to. I'm going to take him down to 27. I don't want to give that minute to Drew Eubanks, though. I don't think that him going to 20 is the answer. I'm going to take Shaedon Sharpe to 19. He's also not going to matter at all for today's slate. I'm not going to change any rates for Portland. These will be the same rates that we applied on Wednesday. No need to dig into individual rates without any rotational changes. So, bump on that one, Ross. So we'll go to the Indiana side. And for the Pacers, everybody's available. So this should be pretty easy to match up to whatever they did in their Wednesday matchup, or in their Wednesday game. It was Wednesday, right? Yeah, it was Wednesday. So we've got Tyrese Halliburton. I have him in for 32. That is not going to be the answer. We're going to have to bump that one up a bit. I'm going to get him to probably 33. TJ McConnell's minutes can stay. He's not important for today. We'll work our way down the actual played list. Buddy Hield, I definitely need to bump up a little bit. So let's get him to 32. We're going to need Miles Turner. 30, I think, seemed fine for Turner, although he has played more than that in 4 straight. So I'm going to go 31-17 for him and Jalen Smith. Nembhard, Could probably use like 2 more minutes. I got him in for 27. I'm going to go ahead and make that be 29. And then Neesmith, I have in for 28. I can make that 26, 27. I'm going to go 27. I could leave Matherin at 25. O'Shea Brissett could probably take that minute. TJ McConnell could probably take that minute. I'm just going to give it to Duarte since he won't matter. Again, rates won't change for this team. So game one in the books. We moved pretty quickly there, and I'm kind of happy about it. So Indiana looks interesting. Certainly Miles Turner on DraftKings, 6,700. That's a nice price tag. He's a little bit more expensive on FanDuel, but you buy yourself the power forward eligibility. I think Miles Turner is your best option from Indiana. It's an 11-game slate. There are going to be all of the centers in the world if you want to get to them. I would say that there are no other priorities from Indiana, but clearly any one of the starters will work. On FanDuel, that might be a little bit of a different story. On the Portland end, $6,700 Anthony Simons and $6,200 Anthony Simons on FanDuel. Very clearly the best play from Portland. He will look good as we move through this entire slate. I assume will be a relatively highly ranked guy when all is said and done. Nurk, 6K on DraftKings. That's a pretty appealing price tag if you think that he can get 27 plus. As always, Dame is in play. $9,100 Dame on FanDuel also works pretty well. Not too much else. I don't really have a ton of interest in Grant or Josh Hart. So Simons is the priority in this entire game. I don't think that's really all that close. Nurk on DK, Dame on both sites if you're looking for anything else from Portland. All right, so that's one in the books. We move on to game number 2. Chicago Bulls, 5-point dogs. I don't know how I was about to say 6. 5-point dogs in Philadelphia, 228 total for Chicago. Q-tag on Alex Caruso, ankle sprain. Q-tag on Javonte Green, which I don't think matters at all. Obviously, Lonzo Ball still out. So, basically just projecting this team the way that we normally do. Obviously, if Caruso ends up out, there will be a trickle-down effect there. But the rest of this should be pretty easy. 39 minutes for DeMar. I got 37 for Levine. I feel fine there. Could probably make a case that should be 38 for DeMar. Let's not go too crazy. That other minute onto Dragic, I guess. I got 29 for Dosunmu. That I could actually make 30. So I'm going to take that minute back away from Dragic, give it back to Dosunmu. I got Caruso in for 23. I think that's the goal if he plays. I don't think it matters either way. Got 35 in for Vooch. He's been playing that. Patrick Williams in for 30. I'm actually going to even bump that up. Dude's just playing significantly more minutes. So I'm going to go 32 on Patrick Williams. He's probably going to show up as a value option for me now, which is not ideal. All right, if we're talking Lauri Markkanen, here's the deal. He's having a great year for him for sure. Like he's been an offensive marvel. 68% true shooting, 42% from 3. It's really, really good. He doesn't really bring a ton else to the table. Like he's not a shot creator really for himself. He doesn't really create. Like he's a secondary creator, and there's an upper bound for that. I think you can slot him in on a team that is already set up. But by the time you build whatever you want around him, he's not going to be the same guy. I think that he can really be an asset on another team. I just don't really know what the point of him is for Utah right now. But honestly, absolutely incredible offensive season so far. I mean, just that efficiency is staggering. But He doesn't really do much else. And like, you can't look back at it for Cleveland. Like, he wouldn't have had this kind of season if he stayed in Cleveland either. So, yeah, see what you can get. Look, keep him around, obviously, if you don't get an absolute haul. But I think it'd be more interesting to get that haul. All right, we'll go to Philly now. Philadelphia 76ers, and I believe there's no Embiid. Yeah, Embiid is out with left foot soreness. So I never played the Wednesday slate, which means I never updated for the news of Embiid being out. So I am going to take Embiid out now. We ended up getting 28 minutes of Montrezl Harrell. I believe we got Tucker starting, if I remember correctly. They beat Indiana by 3. We got Harris, Harden, Tucker, Maxey, Melton. So we did get Maxey back to, well, he played 32-ish minutes in regulation. So now we really need to reevaluate everything that we have here. So first and foremost, I'm going to assume that they go to the same starting lineup. So Trez was essentially the straight up backup center and then closed. No fouls for Tucker there. 1 foul for Tucker there. 1 foul for Tucker there. And then closed over PJ Tucker and played the entire overtime over PJ Tucker. So I'm going to say that Harrell plays a similar role here and plays, 22 minutes. Which means that I'm going to give 26 to PJ Tucker, which is what he played. The question then becomes, do they want to close with Harrell in general? So I kind of want to split the difference there. I'm actually going to make it 23 for Harrell. 25 minutes at the 5 for PJ Tucker, which is what he played. And then I'm going to say that he'll play like 2 more minutes at the 4, potentially. Even though they really didn't share the floor. But I think it's possible that they can. Yeah, Dr. DFS, that did not affect his minutes at all. So we didn't see more minutes go to George Niang. It was sort of Matisse Thybulle that got the biggest benefit here, plus the bump in minutes to Tyrese Maxey. So assuming Maxey was able to play he played 36 minutes in total. I don't see anything about his rotation that makes me think I want to go too much higher than like 32 or 33. So I'm going to take him up to 32 now. That will allow me to bump up Shake Milton a bit to fill out the rest of the point guard minutes. I don't have much that I really want to change here for Tobias Harris. I got him in for 33 minutes. Easily make that 34. I'm fine with the George Niang minutes at 22. Melton in for 30. Probably can make that 31 and feel good about it. Harden in for 37. Feels like I should make that 38. And I will. I'm giving DeMar 39 or 38, and I need to give James Harden 38. So that leaves me 17 more minutes. And I think that those 17 minutes are just going to go straight to Matisse Thybulle. Done. But the big piece is we do have to grab the new rates for no Joel Embiid. So let's go ahead and do that. How many games has Embiid missed at this point? I feel like it's not all that many. But just to quickly see. S&P. Yeah, if Harrell starts at the 5, then I would say 100% Reed's playing. Just because PJ Tucker would probably be starting then at the 4, and I don't think that they're going to stagger it that way. Brooklyn Silver, I don't know why you'd be surprised that the center coming off the bench would play less than 26 minutes. It's pretty hard to play more than 26 minutes in that scenario. All right, so Embiid has sat 9 games. I went back and canceled out my query, so I'm going to do that again. I think I need to go more with Joel Embiid off. That's just going to be the way that it works. And then we're going to say in games that Harden started, Maxey started, Harris started. Okay, I don't care at all about the matchup. I doubt Philly does either. Man, they have not played all that many minutes with this group of guys together. That's kind of wild. So in 217 minutes, with Joel Embiid off, in games where Harden, Maxey, and Harris were all available and started, Harden's got a little over a 30% usage rate. Maxey's at 26 plus. Tobias Harris, 176 minutes. Finally gets back to his normal 20% usage rate. Melton maintains his 19% usage rate. Trez in 121 minutes, 15% usage rate. Now that's where it gets a little squirrely because he's a much higher usage guy. I don't want to go up to 15, but he's clearly not going to get the ball in the same way. So I'm going to take it to 17. Certainly going to see an assist rate change to some of these guys as well. Harden's assist rate kind of maintains. Does Maxey maintain? Yeah, Maxey's comes down a bit as expected. Surely Harris's does as well. Melton, I assume, does. Yeah, Melton's does by a large margin. Trez, I don't care. And then rebounding rate. Harden actually gets a little bit of a bump. Montrezl Harrell basically doesn't get rebounds in this scenario. That is kind of wild. I don't want to discount it too much because that doesn't make intuitive sense. Brooklyn, I mean, if he's the bench center, foul trouble is not really going to matter all that much. There's never been a situation where anyone cared about the foul trouble of a bench center. I think rates are good there. So let's look at Philly. And very obviously, James Harden is your best option here. He's 10,100 on DraftKings, 10,200 on FanDuel. It's a good matchup against Chicago. He is the best play from Philly. I think Harris, Maxey, Melton all look basically identical on DraftKings. Happy to get to any of them. Maxey probably the hardest guy to get to. Highest price and just point guard eligibility. So I'd probably be more inclined to get to Harris or Melton. I don't really have much interest in PJ Tucker at 3,200, but if you're ever going to play PJ Tucker, today is kind of the day to do it just because you get power forward center. The price is at the bottom. I mean, he does dick all for this team. 0.55 fantasy points per minute is where I have him projected. 0.42 is where he's been over the past 30 days. That is piss poor. Montrezl Harrell is 4,500 on DK, 4,800 on FanDuel. To me, not that interesting of a play unless you get him in the starting lineup. There's going to be 100 centers, and it's just going to be hard to prioritize that. On the Chicago end, oh, there we go. Computer just moved to like bright screen mode, so it's much easier to see. I like the Bulls starters, in particular Levine and Vooch. I don't feel all that different than I did when they played on Wednesday. They've just got this firm starting lineup that's all playing, 30 plus minutes. I like Patrick Williams as a potential value piece at 4K. He's been just playing bigger minutes. He's not a good per minute guy, so know what you're getting there. $7,300 Levine, like to me, that's the best play you're going to get here from the Chicago side. That price tag just works. And $7,400 on FanDuel too. I don't mind going to the Bulls. They look a lot more interesting than I thought they would. I'm interested to see their ownership. All right, we keep it moving now. Game 3, New York Knicks, 3.5-point dogs in Toronto, 220 total. Hit that like button, by the way. For the Knicks, RJ Barrett's still out, which means what we saw on Wednesday can hold again, similarly to what we saw on Monday. That's really helpful. So Jalen Brunson has played even bigger minutes now over these past 2 games, which means we're bumping Jalen Brunson's minutes up. I got him in for 36. I'm at least taking him to 37. I'm going to take those Derrick Rose minutes away and those Fournier minutes away for now. I kind of want to go to 38 on Brunson, but I don't want to overreact. But this game should be ultra competitive. I've got Quickly in for 36. Did they go to OT? No, Jesus. All right, I'm going to go to 37 on Quickly as well. This is about to get really grimy. Quentin Grimes. 37 minutes for Grimes. I have to do all of those things. I'm really tempted to go to 38 on Brunson, but I think I'm going to go 37 across the board for those 3 guys. I know what I'm missing. I forgot that Toppin was back. It was another change that I didn't have to make at late night Wednesday. Wait, did Toppin not play? Was he active but didn't play? Is that real? Knicks 1-4-23 box score. That's not the one. ESPN. DNP CD from Toppin. That is wild. That is wild. Fidel, that's not true. He's not in the G League. Huh. I mean, I have to assume that he's actually playing today. I don't think that that's going to be a thing that they're doing. So, man, that really complicates matters here. All right, I'm going to say that he's just back, but he's going to play like 10 minutes. The question is what they're going to do at center. Because Mitchell Robinson only played 13 minutes, but like that's not... There's obviously reasons for that. It's not just like a, oh no, what happened to Mitchell Robinson thing. Like he didn't just play 13 minutes because of 13 minutes. He had 2 fouls in his first quarter stint, picked up another one immediately, and then grabbed another one in the third quarter, another one in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, they probably checked him in a little. I'm going to take him down to 29 for Mitch. I don't know what they're going to do now with Hartenstein and Jericho Sims because they're not going to play. None of these guys are going to play alongside of each other now that Toppin is back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sims just go away, but I'm also not going to project it like that. So I'm going to say 16 to Hartenstein and just a couple minutes to Sims just to round out the rest of center. And then I've got Miles McBride in for 18. That seems fine. Fournier actually has been playing for the past 4 games. I'm going to give Fournier the final 15 minutes. Don't have to change any rates here. This can all stay the same. So that's the Knicks. On the Toronto end, I assume this is going to be pretty cut and dry, barring any injuries. Maybe they can make a shot. Yeah, Otto Porter out. So we're getting standard Toronto. I know Boucher played a bunch more this most recent game. So we'll evaluate that by taking Thad Young's minutes away because he didn't play. But I've got Van Vliet in for 36. He played massive minutes once again. Now, they did go to overtime, but even still, I got to take Van Vliet up to 37. I'm going to take all of the minutes to the scrubs away and fill them in afterwards. So we got Van Vliet in for 37. Trent is going to go in for 36. Anunoby I got in for 37. That works for me. Scotty Barnes in for 36. I'm actually going to make that 35. And then Pascal Siakam I got in for 39, and I'm not making any changes there. Jen, so I'm going to hit a couple questions really quickly here. So, Jen, how early is too early to start putting in lineups? Right now is fine. If you know you're going to be around at lock, you can edit them down the line. So I register in the morning so that I can get into the tournaments and then edit my lineups afterwards. And then super chat from Tyler said, can't usually watch live, but able to today. Josh, condolences on your loss. Thank you for that. Glad you took the time to be with the family. Great to have you back. DFS is more fun and profitable with you a part of it. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I'm happy to be here. I missed not doing this show. Yeah, look, Toppin's not on the injury report as with the G League team, so he is just not with the G League team. But wild that he got a DNP CD. Why activate him? Like, it's just weird process there. Okay, anyway, back to Toronto. Koloko did not play, so I'm not going to project Christian Koloko to play. We're going to say that Precious Achiuwa plays like the other 9 minutes here or whatever at center. Actually, I'll give him the 11 that he's been playing. We'll knock 2 of those Siakam center minutes down. And then nope, wrong person. That was Boucher. They needed to go to Precious. And then Boucher played 22 minutes. Seems like he either plays 20 minutes or doesn't play at all. So I'm going to give him 16, 15, 15. We'll go 15. And then we need to give some minutes to Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn is just going to get whatever minutes Fred VanVleet doesn't play at the point guard spot. Now I have 19 minutes left over. That's going to be for Juancho Hernan-Gomez. Did I accidentally delete somebody? Why do I have so many minutes left over? So Juancho can get, some sort of 7-minute chunk. I guess, man, this is just weird. Who do I want to give these minutes to? I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll give him the Thad because he's just like the most likely to play, but I don't know. Weird. Van Vliet, Trent, Anunoby, Siakam, Barnes are the only guys that matter anyway. So that's Toronto. So we're done this game. What time is it? 7:05. All right, we're making good enough time. So from an evaluation standpoint, much like I said on Wednesday, you want on DraftKings, you want everything from this starting 5. Siakam, Van Vliet, Anunoby, Trent, Barnes. They're all really good plays. Van Vliet to me is the worst play of the group, like compared to each other. But I do think that he'll look like a really interesting pivot when he gets no ownership whatsoever and a bunch of guards in that area do. But I just want to get to these guys. FanDuel's a little bit different. Like Van Vliet's 8,500. I don't think he looks good there at all. Trent is 7,100. Barnes is 7,900. Like those guys don't have great prices. Siakam, though, for some strange reason, is $600 cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. I had a ton of him on Wednesday in like my mock run, because again, I didn't play, but I run the same process one way or the other. I can know what I would have had. It was a ton of Siakam, and it would be again today. He's not priced correctly. We're talking about a 1.3 fantasy point per minute guy playing 39 minutes. Like, even in a bad game environment, I love Siakam here. He's going to end up being one of the better plays on FanDuel. And then I think you can still justify OG Anunoby at 6,900. Shooting guard, small forward. I like the flexibility. Not a major priority, but he is the second best option there. For the Knicks, Quickly is your best option on DraftKings. Brunson is second. They are the two priorities from the Knicks. Randall, Grimes, Brunson all look fine. Sorry, Randall, Grimes, Robinson all look fine. Be aware, though, 10,600 for Randall's kind of a tough sell, because if they want to give if they want to give Toppin that extra minute or two, that's just going to come from Julius Randle. Now, on FanDuel, I would say that I probably prefer Brunson to Quickly. Brunson's price is $100 cheaper than it is on DraftKings, where Quickly is $400 more expensive. But Quickly and Brunson are very clearly the two Knicks that you should be playing today. 3 down. Ooh, we go to the Charlotte Hornets. They are 10.5-point dogs in Milwaukee, 234 total. Charlotte is the biggest underdog on today's slate. Really need to hope here that nothing looks good, because that's just not a team you're going to want to roster guys for. Doubtful tag on Gordon Hayward. Kelly Oubre obviously still out. And then we did get the return of Cody Martin, who played 21 minutes in that return. So let's look at the rest of this rotation then. LaMelo Ball, I've got in for 35 minutes. That feels good. PJ Washington, I got in for 32. That feels good. Rozier, I got in for 34. I'm going to make that 33. Mason Plumlee, I got in for 28. That is sort of just what he does. I got Mark Williams in for 19. That seems fine. The rest of this is just going to be filler minutes. I'm certainly going to give a couple extra minutes now to Cody Martin. JT Thor played a lot less than I thought he would have. Dennis Smith Jr. played relatively normal minutes. Jalen McDaniels played 27. I do think that he's much more likely to be playing 30 minutes a game, but so I am going to leave him in for 30. But Cody Martin's going to get more minutes sooner rather than later. He played 21. I'm willing to give him 22 now. I love giving the 15 minutes to JT Thor, but I don't think that it matters all that much. They're set to get blown out, so I'm going to throw 6 spillover minutes to Bryce McGowan just to hold them. I don't have any rates that I need to change, so that's Charlotte. I hope their pricing sucks. For Milwaukee, they got a bunch of guys out already, right? Or no, they got a bunch of guys back. Drew in, Giannis in, Ingles in, Hill in, Beauchamp. I got to gut this entire rotation. It will make pulling rates easier, but actually, I don't even have to pull rates. I still have everything in there with Giannis and Drew. So, perfect. What I do need to do is set playing time. Now, should we assume that Drew Holiday starts? Came off the bench in his return on Tuesday, played 19 minutes, then didn't play the second half of the back-to-back. I can't see a scenario where we should be projecting Drew Holiday for 30 minutes. I'm going to give Drew Holiday 28. We'll give Javon Carter the other 20 minutes at the point guard spot. We'll get Brook Lopez in there for 30. And then Bobby Portis in for the backup run, plus another 9. That'll get him to 27. Giannis has been playing 38 minutes a game. I'm going to put him in for 36 because of this matchup. Can't go too high on Giannis here just because of Charlotte. Don't want to be in a situation where we don't get him. All right, so now my screen's dimming again. Come on, Apple. Get your shit together. All right, now the rest of these guys should be pretty easy. We get Pat Connaughton in for 28 minutes. Although that could just be a Drew Holiday thing. I'm going to go 26 to Connaughton. We're going to need, I don't know, something in that like 16 range for Marshawn Beauchamp, I think. We need to get Joe Ingles out there for 18. We got to get Grayson Allen out there for his 28. And then I have 11 left over for whatever AJ Green is, unless we're assuming George Hill's going to play, but he doesn't appear to be a part of this team right now, and I don't really care about 11 minutes. Rates all stay the same, so that's Milwaukee. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. So Giannis looks great. Even in 36 minutes, because of the matchup, he's 12K on DK, 12K on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's power forward center. On FanDuel, he's small forward, power forward. Happy to pay up to Giannis. That should not be a hot take. Brook Lopez for 6K on DraftKings is going to look all right. But again, every team's got a center that's sort of like a couple $100 underpriced. Danny, Kickstart, good morning. Good morning. Not too much else I want to get to here from Milwaukee. You would need a lot more minutes for Drew. So I feel comfortable at 28. For Charlotte, oh, there's not a single priority here. $4,800 Jalen McDaniels is the most interesting guy to me just because of the positionality and the potential. Like if it's, they're just short on guys that play his position. Cody Martin's just not a good enough per minute guy to like think maybe he falls into more minutes. At any point in time, if you want to play LaMelo, by all means, but this is not the best game environment. So now we head to Washington. They are 1.5-point dogs in OKC. Holy shit. Sign of the times. Good morning, Dave Jones. So for the Wiz, Bradley Beal going to be out for the next 4 games. Daniel Gafford is in. So Beal being out just sort of makes this a lot easier to deal with. We will have to pull new rates, but at the same time, we kind of know how this projects now. That's helpful. So we got Monty Morris. I got him in for 28 minutes. I think there's a case to be made that it should be 29, so I'm going to bump him up. And I got DeLon Wright playing the backup run to Morris. Good so far. We've got Daniel Gafford. He's played pretty sizable minutes over the past 4 that were essentially without Beal. So I have no reason to suspect that that should change. I'm going to give Daniel Gafford 27 minutes. That will allow me to keep Porzingis in for 34. Yeah, that works for me. Rui, in the games that have had no Beal as of late, has been playing pretty sizable minutes. I'm going to pop him in here for 27. And that lets me get Kyle Kuzma in for 34. I assume we get the standard issue, like 28 minutes out of Corey Kispert. I think we get a standard, 28 minutes out of Denny Avdia. Now, I have 14 minutes left over. Where the hell are those minutes going? Who am I under projecting aggressively? Or am I just under projecting everybody by a minute? Or are they just in a situation where every single one of those games resulted in a blowout? Yeah, that's the case here. They've just had so many blowout spillovers. Like, this is a game where they had, 15 minutes of spillover. That makes sense. Another game with 7.5. Another game with 8 minutes of spillover. Like, if this one's competitive, I think only these 8 guys are playing. But at the same time, I can't naturally give any one individual guy here the minutes. Like, Kuzma, Porzingis, and one of Morris or Wright are going to close. That's just a guarantee. But the final 2 spots can kind of be anybody in that Avdia, Kispert, Rui, Gafford group. But I can't take 14 minutes and just give 2 to everybody. Yeah, it's not Will Barton, Bob. It'd be more likely to be Taj Gibson than Will Barton. Although Taj had been out, right? Okay, so he's questionable today. Sven, never. All data, one big math problem. I'm going to give 6 minutes to Taj Gibson as if it matters. That leaves me 8 extra minutes. I'm going to give 2 of them to Avdia, to Kispert. See, I can't give those minutes to Gafford, though. Like, he is at his upper bound. I'm going to get Kispert to 30. I'm going to get Kispert to 29. I'm going to get Avdia to 29. I'm going to get Rui to 28. 5 more, and then I'm just going to go spill over. I'm just going to throw it into Anthony Gill for right now. I do have to grab rates with no Beal. This actually matters. Ross, Johnny Davis is in the G League, and he's probably not even good enough to be there. All right, so for Washington, we're going to do games that Beal did not play, obviously. And then we're going to do games where Porzingis started, Morris started, and Kuzma started. I probably don't need to say that Morris started. I'll add a player filter, and we'll say that at least one of Morris or Wright started. There we go. That should be a little bit better. All right, so that's a big enough sample, 10 games. So we'll work our way from top to bottom. Daniel Gafford, 181 minutes, 15% usage guy. I mean, that piece is pretty easy. Denny's played 312 minutes in this scenario. He's at like 17, so we will give him a bump. Porzingis, 328 minutes in games that Beal hasn't started, 29% usage rate. Kuzma in the 346 minutes in games that Beal didn't start, 27.5. So I will give him a bit of a bump as well. Monty Morris has played 308 minutes in this scenario. He basically maintains the same usage rate. And then Rui has played 181 minutes now in this scenario. Rui Hachimura, 25% usage rate. I can't go that crazy, but I will take him up to 24. So that lets us slot in the Washington team now. If we talk about assist rates, I can't imagine Morris changes all that much. Gets a slight bump. You know, the ball's not in Beal's hands anymore. Kuzma has the ball in his hands a little bit more. That's interesting. Porzingis doesn't really do anything else. Benny gets a bit of a bump as well. Shouldn't affect Gafford. Rui basically doesn't participate anyway. That Johnny Davis pick was a terrible pick when it happened, and in hindsight, it's looking somehow even worse. Rebounding rate, I kind of just need to see Porzingis and Gafford. Gafford gets a little bit of a hit. Makes sense. And then Porzingis also takes a little bit of a hit. I assume Rui also does. Yeah, Rui takes a massive hit. Oh, no, I'm reading that wrong. Does take a big one, though. All right, so that's going to be Washington. We go to OKC. I'm going to have to pick up the pace, folks. I thought I was doing pretty well. I'm not. So we got to keep it moving. Although I am enjoying this show so far. Oddly alert for the lack of sleep that I got today. It's kind of weird. No Jeremiah Robinson Earl, no Poku, no Ousmane Dieng, no Jalen Williams, the center. So we're going to take Jalen Williams, the big man, out. We go to OKC. How are they going to do this? I have no idea. So 35 minutes for Shea looks fine. 30 minutes for other Jalen Williams looks good. 30 minutes for Josh Giddey. I got him in for 31. That seems fine. I got Dort in for 29. I'm just going to make those guys 30 and 30. So there we go there. All right. So assuming Muscala plays, I don't know, 18 minutes. What are they going to do for center minutes? You would think Bazley's going to get some run here. They don't really have any. Oddly, for a team that's inundated with centers, they don't actually have centers available. That's interesting to see. So maybe we do get an extra minute or two. I don't want to project Muscala too well because then he's going to actually project well. I'm going to have to assume that Bazley just plays more after not having played at all. Lindy Waters back with the team, so that's great. S&P. The Denver trade looks bad in hindsight. But I don't have a problem with that trade at the time. I liked getting Morris and Barton back. And Morris is their starting point guard. It's just wild that Barton is dead to rights. All right, Darius Bazley just has to play. They don't have enough bodies otherwise. So I'm going to give Darius Bazley the 16 minutes that he normally plays. We'll call Jalen Williams a center at some point in time. Aaron Wiggins can play more. We got to give Lindy Waters like 9 minutes. I got Isaiah Joe in for 16. I hate this team so much. It's I don't have to change. None of it's going to matter. For OKC, oh, God, some of it actually matters. Holy shit. Shea, obviously, 9,800 on DK, 10K on FanDuel, and a good matchup against the Wiz. You shouldn't feel bad at all about getting to Shea. I don't think it's wrong to get to Jalen Williams, Giddey, or Dort. It's probably wrong on FanDuel. Like Jalen Williams is 5,900. He's not going to get there. Josh Giddey's 7,300. He's probably not going to get there. Dort's 5,500. He's probably not going to get there. Shea's good on both sites. You can play Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, and Dort on DK. For Washington, see, this is where it gets complicated here. Like, I don't totally feel great about going to that much Gafford. But 4,600, if he's playing 27 minutes a game, you have to. He's going to look like the best option here. Denny at 4,600 stands out as the other guy that you would want to get to on DraftKings. I think the minutes are just going to be there, so I have no problem with it, really. I probably have him slightly over projected, but I don't really know what else to do with those minutes at this point. I'm probably slightly underrepresenting Rui. He would be the other option. It's weird. Beal being out unlocks everybody sort of but Porzingis and Kuzma on DraftKings. I actually like Porzingis and Kuzma better on FanDuel. Porzingis $300 cheaper. Kuzma $700 cheaper. But Gafford is the key piece here. And then if you've got to lean on Denny or Rui, flip that coin. All right, 5 games down. We're going to game 6, Detroit. 1.5 point dogs in San Antonio. There's no way that this one's going to be fun to do. Pistons, no Bagley, no Isaiah Livers. So this is going to be the same rotation that we got last time. Somehow Corey Joseph was out of the rotation. They consolidated a lot. And that was a game that they beat OKC. So I guess I'm going to take Corey Joseph out of the rotation. We get Jalen Duren in for 27 minutes. I'm willing to make that 28. Although this is like a tank bowl, so I guess I can make that 29. So that's 29 for Duren. And I'm going to go 29 for Beef Stew as well. Knox didn't play. Holy shit. Diallo in for his 16 is fine. Killian Hayes played 35 minutes. I'm taking Killian Hayes up to 31. Alec Burks played 30. That's interesting to see. I'm going to take him up to 26. I'm going to get Sadiq Bey up to 27. I'm fine with Jaden Ivey at 29. So now we got Boyan in for 31. That feels right to me. Where the hell are the rest of these minutes going? Am I missing a full player right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. So they went to an 8-man rotation. Magruder is the guy that was playing that didn't really play. I am going to project Magruder for, most of these minutes. But there's just no reason to suspect that they're going to run an 8-man rotation now. I just don't see it. I'm just going to throw those 8 minutes to Corey Joseph. I don't know what else to do with them, really. Rates can all stay the same. I don't have any changes to make there for Detroit. I hope that they don't look good, because I don't know what they're doing. For San Antonio, Devin Vassell going to be out for a while. He's having knee surgery, which that really sucks. I hope he's all right. Jay Rich is Q. Keita Bates-Diop is probable. So most of this should be pretty easy. I've got Keldon in for 31. We're going to make that 32. Ray Jones in for 28 makes sense. Jake Puddle in for 28 probably is too high, but it's still fine. I'm going to make that 27. Good. Zach Collins in for 20. Got Sohan in for 28. That makes sense. McBucket's played 23 minutes. I'll take him up to 19. Take those Isaiah Roby minutes out. I assume Keita Bates-Diop gets back into playing. It probably axes Stanley Johnson from the rotation. Romeo Langford, Jay Rich. Is Jay Rich going to play a little bit more? Yeah, he probably is, right? Take him up to 24. Take Romeo Langford up to 18. We'll go, 18 to 16 to Keita Bates-Diop. That leaves me 8 left over. That probably would be Stanley Johnson. I don't really feel like moving Stanley Johnson to whatever team he's supposed to be on. So I'm just going to toss those onto Roby. It's not going to matter. Rates are fine. Actually, they're not because of Vassell. I got to grab the stupid San Antonio Spurs rates in games where there's no Devin Vassell. That's exhausting. All right. Games in which Devin Vassell did not play. Because that's a decent chunk, right? He's missed a lot of time this year. Oh, he's only missed 9 games. Okay. So Devin Vassell off. Games where Jakob Poeltl, Trey Jones, Sohan, and Keldon Johnson all started. Keldon Johnson's got a 30% usage rate in those spots, so we do want to bump him up a little bit. Jake Puddle is sort of just himself. Jeremy Sohan is basically himself. And then Trey Jones does get the bump. Assist rate for Keldon stays the same. Trey Jones stays the same. So I don't think there's going to be any changes anywhere else. All right, so for San Antonio, 154 people here, by the way. Hit the like button. Look, Keldon Johnson for 6,800 looks good. 5,800 for Jakob Poeltl, even in 27 minutes, I think looks good here against the Pistons. And then I'd be fine with getting to Trey Jones. I wish that I didn't like San Antonio as much as I do. Unfortunately, I think Detroit's sort of the same problem. Like $4,300 Sadiq Bey. If they're running an 8-man rotation, yeah, I like that here. Killian Hayes, 5,500. If they're running an 8-man rotation, yeah, I like that. Isaiah Stewart is 4,800 power forward center. That stands out to me. 4,900 for Jalen Duren. Look, you can make a really good case for the 8 guys that played big minutes, or for the 7 guys that played big minutes on Wednesday to be good plays today. This Pistons-Spurs game is going to be the death of most people for today. Be ready for it, folks. It's going to be awful. All right, we have about 25 minutes to go. I got to get through 5 more games, so we need to go to extra special fast mode now. The talking gets to slow, not the talking slowing down, but like the analysis has to slow down because we got a hard out. Brooklyn, 4.5-point favorites in New Orleans, 231 total for Brooklyn. Q tag on TJ Warren. Otherwise, everybody that's normally available is available. I am going to bump up Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant 1 minute apiece. I got 29 in for Clax. That seems fine. 32 for Royce. That seems fine. I got 27 for Ben Simmons. Honestly, feels like too many. I'm going to leave TJ Warren in for what he's normally playing at his 22 minutes. Seth Curry, I got in for 19. That dude needs more playing time. Bo Show. I take him up to 21. I got 18 on Joe Harris. That seems fine. 20 for you to Watanabe doesn't seem as fine, but is going to work. And then we'll go to 18 on Watanabe, and then I can throw 3 random minutes on Edwin Sumner. Rates don't have to change for Brooklyn. For the Pels, this could be... No, I think those guys are just all out still. Yeah, no Brandon Ingram, no Zion. Okay, Larry Nance is questionable. Willie Hernan-Gomez is questionable. Nance being questionable is a complicating factor to a degree. But assuming that he is just then the backup center, I think that Joe Val's minutes would come back down to that like 27 range. Let me get 21 to Nance. 15 in for Dyson Daniels, which is what he played. I don't really need to change CJ. I don't really need to change Herb or Trey Jones or Najee Marshall. All these rates stay the same. So for the Pelicans, I love CJ, 8,500 on DK, 8,400 on FanDuel. You can justify any one of the starters after that. No real priorities other than CJ. And then for Brooklyn, I think $5,900 Claxton's your best option. However, centers. Kyrie, 8,700, probably my second favorite option here. No real priorities from Brooklyn, though. Look, S&P, you're right, but like he's just good defensively. I get it. I honestly wish they could flip Simmons. I would love to see Simmons in Indiana playing as the 4 alongside Miles Turner. Because they don't really have a 4. The ball handling would be great. He'd fit there with the stretch 5. Pacers have so many wings that I think that would create a better fit, but it's just such a really weird sunk cost for them at that point. But I think he'd be a really nice fit in Indy. And Indy just has those sorts of bodies to make that a little bit more palatable, especially if they're going to like extend Turner. Try to move one of those wing guys plus something else. Or like, I don't know. There's something there. Anyway, Cleveland. 6.5-point dogs in Denver. 229 total. Obviously, Denver on the back-to-back. Q tag on Garland. Donovan Mitchell is out, which I guess just makes me think that Garland is going to play. But we do need to remember that Garland has missed 3 straight. I'm going to give Garland 35 minutes. Dean Wade's still out. Rubio's still out. So I'm basically just going to swap Mitchell for Garland. And then, I mean, I guess Chetty is going to need a couple extra minutes. Lamar Stevens can probably take a bit of a haircut in minutes. That'll let me get Chetty to 28. I got LeVert in for 35. I'm just going to make it 36. That's what he's doing. I don't want to go too crazy on Garland coming straight back. Like 35 feels about right. I mean, normally I would expect that to be like 37. I got 32 in for Mobley. I think that's okay. I got 35 in for Jared Allen. I think that's okay. 21 for Isaac Okoro. Seems fine. I got 20 in for Kevin Love. Probably get him to 22. And that should be fine for the rest of this team. In theory, I could give Neto more minutes. Don't think it matters. I do need to grab rates. Although it's mostly just trying to figure out what the change is for Garland when Mitchell is off. So we're going to say Donovan Mitchell off. Games where Garland started. Can I say LeVert started? Is that going to be enough? Probably not a lot of those games. Okay, 10. Garland, 31% usage rate. Okay. So we're basically just replacing Garland with Mitchell, and it's like a 1-to-1 swap. A bit of a discount to his assist rate, which I'm not surprised by. I'm going to keep everybody else's rates the same. It would be weird to change it. So as we look, still got to do, I mean, we're not going to do anything for Denver. We don't have an injury report for Denver. Jamal Murray said he's playing. So I'm going to leave Denver's rotation the same way that I had it for yesterday. It's a back-to-back, so no reason to make that change. But for Cleveland, I want to go straight to Karis LeVert, 5,800 on DraftKings, 6,600 on FanDuel. Just think he's a really good play when one of those guys are out. He's playing 36 minutes. It's great eligibility. No problems getting to Garland at 8K. Jared Allen looks like a really nice center option at 6,300. We've had that conversation already. That's basically it for me for Cleveland. On the Denver end, I like Jamal Murray at 7K if he's playing. You know, he played limited minutes yesterday because of the ass beating. Don't have a huge interest in Jokic at this point. Clearly good, but not my cup of tea for today. There's just not a lot to like for Denver. I mean, that's a slow-paced defensive game too, so there's also that. All right, Clippers at Minnesota. Clippers sort of in the same boat, but we know that we need to make rotational changes. I also don't know what those changes should be, but like we know that Kawhi Leonard's not playing. Kawhi Leonard is not playing a back-to-back. At least I don't think he will. Now, I know he didn't play the second half yesterday, but for Kawhi Leonard to play a back-to-back, that would be a really weird situation. Now, Wall didn't play yesterday, so I'm certainly assuming that he plays today. So I'm not touching any of the Reggie Jackson, John Wall minutes. I'm going to assume Paul George just plays today. Certainly could get ruled out. So I don't have too many things that I want to change here. Terrence Mann obviously is going to get a minutes bump. And Luke Kennard is going to play a couple extra minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Amir Coffey get a decent chunk of run here. Covington could very well play a little bit more. I don't have a great feel for this. I don't know the status of Nick Batum. So I'm just going to split these final 20 minutes. I got 14 minutes left. I'm just going to give those to Amir Coffey. I'm not even really going to touch these rates because it's just not worth the time right now to guess on something that we don't have. And I don't get the sense that these Clippers guys are going to look fantastic for today either. Minnesota's not on the back-to-back. No Towns, no McLaughlin. Naz Reid, Q-tag. Bryn Forbes, Q-tag. I don't have any changes that I need to make to this Minnesota rotation. I had Naz Reid in on Wednesday. He ultimately did not play. We got Taurean Prince back. So I feel pretty comfortable with what I have in right now. Yeah. I feel okay with Minnesota's rotation as is, along with rates. So for Minnesota, I like Anthony Edwards quite a bit. 9,100, 8,800. D'Angelo Russell looks really solid. He's been just better as a basketball player since Towns has been out, running more pick and roll. $6,400 Rudy Gobert looks really good on DraftKings. That's just a low price tag. Look, no matter what you think of Gobert, he's still been a 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy over the past 30 days. And if you think that he just gets slightly back to what he used to be defensively, 6,400 is just not the right price tag. So Edwards, Russell, Gobert all look really good on DK. For the Clippers right now, look, Ivica Zubac is 5K. He's going to look really good today, no matter what. So play some Zubac, folks. It's a great spot. All right, 2 games to go. Miami at Phoenix. If we like something here, there's going to have to be a lot of guys out, because if we like something for Miami or Phoenix, it's going to be crazy. 217 total. It's the only game with a total below 220. We got a Q tag on Caleb Martin. Duncan Robinson obviously going to be out for a while. He doesn't play. Jovic is out. Yurtsevin is out. So this is standard Miami rotation. Which means I got 36 minutes for Bam, 36 minutes for Hero, 34 minutes for Jimmy, 32 minutes for Kyle Lowry. I don't have any changes to make at all for Miami, and the chances of any of these guys looking good right now, barring any really weird prices, basically slim to none. Phoenix, no Booker, no Johnson, no Cam. Ooh, no campaign. Okay, that is actually an interesting development. Man, Chris Paul's been so bad this year. I know I don't have time for this, but I believe he's still below average true shooting, which he's either hurt or cooked. Yeah, 55% true shooting for Chris Paul. Lowest mark since his second season. But at that point in time, the average was much higher. He was actually above average at that point. He's shooting 40% at the rim. Woof, Chris Paul. Woof. That said, probably needs to play a little bit more today with no campaign. Dwayne Washington probably just the straight backup to Chris Paul. Ish Wainwright going to get some time. Josh Okogie's going to have to play, basically. Dario Saric played 18 minutes. Believe he got the start. If I give him those 18 minutes again, I need to shave 8 minutes off of somebody. It's kind of weird. That shouldn't be the case. Maybe I guess I just take them away from Josh Okogie. That should be fine. Landry Shamet played 36 minutes. I guess I got to give Landry Shamet more playing time. Let's get him up to 32. We already have Mikal Bridges in for his 35. We've got DeAndre Ayton in him for his 30. Can't imagine anything's going to look good here. Oh, it does. All right, Shamet's a problem at 45. Not a problem. I shouldn't say that. I think it's okay to get to some of these starters for Phoenix, because if it's competitive, they're going to play Bridges, Paul, and Ayton 30 plus. I don't love anything from Phoenix, but you can make a case for Bridges, Paul, Shamet as a value if he's going to be playing 30 plus minutes, especially now with Payne out, and Ayton. And I guess a little bit of Saric if you want to go that direction. I don't have him projected all that well, but, you know, there's certainly a path. For Miami, nothing at all. So, final game. Atlanta Hawks, 1-point favorites in LA against the Lakers. For the Hawks, everybody but Clint Capella. So this is going to be same rotation that we got for Atlanta for the past 2 games, which makes things really easy to project. John Collins played 40 minutes in regulation and 40 minutes in double OT the game before that. I got Onyeka Okongwu in for 31. That seems fine. I got Collins in for 30. That does not seem fine. I got to assume that he's playing more than that. So I'm going to take him up to 32. Take some minutes away from Jalen Johnson. Bogdanovich played 32 off the bench. They're just running these starters heavy minutes. I can't go too much more to Bogdanovich, though. AJ Griffin I have in for 20. I don't think that's going to matter at all. I'm going to take 2 of those minutes, give them to Aaron Holiday just in case. Rates all stay the same on Atlanta. Then for the Lakers, no Lonnie Walker, no Austin Reeves, no AD. We do get LeBron back. I'm going to start this rotation from scratch just because that's kind of weird. So, assuming... Let's look at the Lakers quickly. Schroeder, Beverly, Brown, LeBron James, and Thomas Bryant. So let's go ahead and get Dennis Schroeder in for, 33 minutes. We get Pat Bev in for 29. We get Troy Brown in for 28. Obviously, LeBron goes straight in for 35. And then Thomas Bryant gets 29. We need to slot in Russ. So Russ gets his 28. Thomas Bryant, we'll just say, gets backed up with a little bit of Wenyen Gabriel. We get Juan Toscano Anderson in as well. I guess Kendrick Nunn probably plays like 14 minutes, and then we give 12 to Max Christie probably. Actually pretty easy to handle. Did I redo their rotations? I did. That sucks. Gotta grab rates just in case LeBron looks good. So we're going to say AD off. LeBron started. Russ played, but did not start. Not much else that I really care about here. So LeBron, 483 minutes with AD off, 34% usage rate. So we will give him that bump. Schroeder, 322 minutes now, 18% usage rate. Pat Bev is at 10% usage. Okay. Russell Westbrook is at 29. And then Thomas Bryant is at 18.4. Assist rate, Braun stays the same. Russ actually basically stays the same. Everybody basically stays the same. Does rebounding change? Yeah, LeBron gets a couple more rebounds with no AD around. Russ gets a couple more rebounds with no AD around. Thomas Bryant certainly gets a couple more rebounds with no AD around. That is your Lakers team. LeBron looks fine at 10-7. Tough sell for 11-2 on FanDuel. Schroeder and Thomas Bryant would be my 2 other guys that I would want to get to here. But again, Thomas Bryant looks like 12 other centers at a minimum. Not much else I'd like to get to from the Lakers. For Atlanta, I like DeJounte Murray at 8,300. I like DeJounte Murray pretty much every night. Maybe I need to just discount his usage slightly. Take him down to 36 minutes. No, he plays a shit ton. I can't. I guess I'm just going to like DeJounte Murray today. There's no way around it. I like John Collins for 6,400, assuming these minutes are real. And then Trae Young is Trae Young, 9,400 DK, 9,500 on FanDuel, 1.2 something fantasy point per minute guy against the Lakers with no AD. Somebody's going crazy for Atlanta tonight. All right, let's run some crunches. Let's be quick. Before we run those crunches, we are going to save our workbook because that would be a disaster if it didn't work out the way we needed to. And we're going to talk a little bit about BetMGM. If you want to get 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, along with a $1,000 risk-free bet, click the link in the description. You got to be new to BetMGM. You got to be in a legal betting state. Make a deposit. Try to make it as sizable as you possibly can because your first bet is risk-free up to $1,000, which means if you put $500 down and it wins, you just move forward with all the money in your account. If you put in $500 and it loses, they will give you $500 in free bet credits. So that's much better for you. You get another bite at the apple. Take some risks here. So you want to run that first bet up as high as you possibly can. Plus, 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, guys. It's not going to get any better than that for you. All right, crunches. Got to move quick, folks. Got to move quick. This window goes here. This window goes here. FanDuel Optimals. Here we go. First one up. We have $320.02. It is the optimal by 1.00. Interesting to see. Killian Hayes, Anthony Simons, D'Angelo Russell, Jalen Brunson, Keldon Johnson, Trey Murphy, John Collins, Pascal Siakam, Daniel Gafford. That is an ultra balanced lineup. Trey Murphy at 4,700. No one else. And you get Gafford at 5,400. Ultra flat. Love Siakam. Get ready to see where he shows up because for power rankings, we have it's going to be pretty flat at the top. It's looking like Anthony Simons is going to be your number one guy here. Could be John Collins as well. They are the two guys. Could be DeJounte Murray as well. It looks like Simons is pulling away. So Simons looking like the number one contender. John Collins, DeJounte Murray both look really good for me. Trey Murphy, solid value option. You see Pascal Siakam now climbing up a little bit closer to the top. Told you guys that one was going to show up. Hopefully he has the same low ownership he did last time. Simons, Siakam, Murphy, Murray, Edwards, top 5. Collins, Najee Marshall, Schroeder, Grimes, and Quickly round out the rest of my top 10. We head to DraftKings now. And for DK, DraftKings Optimal. Before we get out of here, we're going to hit our time mark the way that we needed to. That's always good to see. We went the full hour and a half. I'm oddly wide awake. I slept like shit. I only got like 5.5 hours of sleep, but for some reason I have energy today. It's all about to go away. My legs are so sore from Wednesday. It's going to be a rough one at the gym, but we'll have fun. 290.94 is the optimal. That is the optimal by 0.28. Killian Hayes, Karis LeVert, Denny Avdia. We get to pay up Giannis. Jakob Poeltl, Landry Shamet, Keldon Johnson, Ivica Zubac. I actually really like that lineup, but you just know that you're going to get boned by one of these dudes. I know how that sounds. Pause, phrasing, whatever you want to say. It's just like there's so many landmines in here, but every one of those guys does look like a decent play at their minutes. So I get it, but it's gross. We turn on the rando, and we run our power rankings crunch. It's very, very blurry at the top on DK. Very flat. Nobody looks like an out-and-out guy that you cannot get away from. Karis LeVert looking like he's going to be my number one guy, which is just gross. Harden ranks really highly. Giannis ranks really highly. Zubac ranks really highly. D'Angelo Russell, Gary Trent. Like, these guys are all bouncing around. It is Karis LeVert right now. Don't feel good about that at all, but he's 5,800. Like, he's just not priced correctly when one of those two guys are out. I mean, the price has climbed quite a bit. You were able to get him at 4,200 a couple of days ago when these guys were out. But even still, if he's starting and playing 36 plus minutes, that's just a really nice price tag. So LeVert, Harden, Zubats, Giannis, Gary Trent is the top 5. Russell, Sadiq Bey, Andrew Nembhard, Emmanuel Quickley, and Scotty Barnes rounded out. I don't even think I said Nembhard's name when we did Indiana. That's just fun to see. Folks, we done. The week is done. We're back. 4 straight days of the process. Everything is good. Everything is great. Everything is excellent. I cannot complain right now because we're back doing what we love. Thank you guys for being here. It has helped out a ton. Make sure you're hitting the like button on your way out the door. I have got to go, so I have nothing else more to say. Thank you guys for being here. Good luck tonight. I'm on the deeper dive, no strategy show today. Contenders videos after the gym. I'll see you guys later tonight. This was The Process.